Let's get started. Number 9. The empty seat buffer. You step into a train or a bus and see plenty of empty seats. You don't sit directly next to a stranger if there's another option. You prefer leaving gap of a seat or two, like personal space has a physical measurement. Nobody ever explains this rule to you. There's no sign that says, please leave one seat between yourself and others. Break this rule, and suddenly the air feels weird. Sit right next to someone when other seats are open, and they immediately start wondering what's wrong. Their brain instantly goes into threat detection mode. Scientists think this comes from our ancient survival wiring. Early humans needed a safety buffer. Too close meant danger. Too far meant isolation. That invisible bubble around your body is called personal space, and it expands or shrinks depending on context. On a crowded train, the bubble collapses. But when space is available, your brain demands a buffer zone. This rule isn't about rudeness. Leaving a seat empty simply means, I respect your space. I'm not a threat. It's the modern, socially acceptable version of keeping your distance without saying a word. Number 8, the hallway hesitation. You're walking down a narrow hallway. Someone is coming towards you from the other way. There's enough space for only one of you to pass comfortably. And without a word being spoken, both of you slow down at the exact same time. You both do that polite micropause, waiting to see who will commit first. For a split second, you're both frozen, like two characters buffering in real life. Scientists link this to the same prediction systems that control walking and driving. Your brain constantly simulates other people's movements to avoid collisions. But in tight spaces, those predictions become unstable. You're trying to guess what the other person will do while they're doing the exact same thing. Two brains running simulations on each other, both slightly out of sync. Each step feels like a tactical decision with social consequences. Number 7. The text-back dilemma. You see a message notification pop up and read it immediately. Suddenly, your brain starts calculating an invisible equation. Reply too fast and you look desperate. Reply too slow and you look rude. Somewhere in the middle is the correct response time, and somehow everyone seems to know it without ever agreeing on it. Nobody taught you this rule. There's no handbook for acceptable reply timing. But break it and things feel off. If a close friend texts you, you reply immediately. If it's a coworker, the reply is delayed. But when it's someone you're interested in, that's when the calculation gets dangerous. Now you're checking the time, rereading the message, and pretending you're busy while staring at your phone. Then comes the worst part. You finally reply, and they respond instantly. Now the math resets. Should you reply right away this time, or wait again to keep things balanced? Suddenly you're trapped in a silent back and forth, timing each message like it's a turn-based game. Scientists say this behavior comes from social signaling. Response time has become a stand-in for interest, respect, and power. Before messaging apps, we did this with phone calls and letters. Now the same ancient instincts are running inside modern phones. Number 6. The checkout courtesy freeze. You're at a store checkout when you and another person step toward the counter at the exact same time. What follows is a weird loop of politeness. Go ahead, you say politely. No, after you, they reply. There you are, two people trying not to be rude, accidentally caught up in an awkward situation. The cashier watches this unfold like it's part of his job description. The line behind you starts forming opinions. Your brain treats this moment like a social test. Going first feels selfish. Going second feels polite, but only if the other person actually accepts. So you both hesitate, offering invisible points to each other, waiting for someone to claim them. This behavior comes from old social ranking systems, where taking priority without permission could mark you as aggressive. Letting someone else go first was a way of showing respect without words. That instinct never left. It just followed us into supermarkets. The tension finally breaks the same way. Someone laughs or suddenly pretends they forgot an item and backs away. The loop collapses, and everyone pretends nothing weird just happened. Number 5. The screen tilt reflex. You're using your phone in public when someone walks past or sits nearby. Suddenly, your wrist tilts like it's on autopilot. The screen angles away just a little, like it moved on its own. You're not hiding anything. It could be a weather app, a grocery list, or a photo of your dog, but your hand still reacts. Your brightness drops without you thinking about it. This reflex kicks in even when there's nothing private to protect. You could be scrolling headlines or reading a menu, and your brain still treats your screen like a secret document. Scientists think this comes from ancient guarding behavior. Early humans protected resources instinctively, even when no one was actually trying to steal them. Studies show our brains treat personal screens like extensions of ourselves. When someone looks too closely, it triggers the same discomfort as standing too close physically. It's not about what's on the screen. It's about control over who gets access. Sometimes that tiny tilt sends the wrong signal. The person next to you suddenly thinks you're hiding something. Now they're curious, even though there's literally nothing to see. While trying to protect your privacy, you accidentally create suspicion where none existed. Your brain raises a red flag over a completely harmless screen. Number 4. The automated apology. You bump into a table and immediately say sorry, but that table does not accept your apology. You say sorry when someone else bumps into you. No one was harmed, but the word comes out anyway. This happens constantly. It's not always an apology. Sometimes it's just a noise your brain makes to keep the situation smooth. Scientists think this comes from social smoothing behavior. Saying sorry acts like a verbal cushion. It lowers tension before it can even exist. Early humans who diffused situations quickly were less likely to start conflicts, so the habit stuck. Thousands of years later, we're busy apologizing to the furniture. The word fires before your brain checks whether it's actually needed. Your mouth is running on autopilot. By the time your brain catches up, it's already too late. Some cultures do this more than others, but the instinct shows up everywhere. Sorry becomes a way to signal, I'm not a threat, I'm cooperative, please don't be mad, even when there's absolutely no reason to be mad. Number 3, the escalator side rule. You step onto an escalator, and without thinking twice, you move to one side. No sign tells you which side to stand on. Nobody explains the rule out loud, but somehow everyone knows it. One side is for standing still, the other is for people in a hurry. Stand in the wrong spot, and you can feel the tension behind you before anyone says a word. This instinct kicks in immediately. People shuffle over as soon as their feet land. Bags get pulled closer. Bodies line up like there's an invisible lane marker painted down the steps. Even first-time visitors seem to figure it out within seconds. What's strange is that the rule changes depending on where you are. In some places, you stand on the left. In others, it's the right. But your brain adapts fast. Break the local version of the rule, and someone will sigh loudly enough for you to hear. Scientists think this comes from flow management. Humans instinctively organize movement to reduce friction. When everyone follows the same pattern, things feel smooth. When someone doesn't, it feels personal, even though it isn't. Number 2, the group exit pause. The class is dismissed, and yet nobody moves. Everyone waits for someone else to go first. It's like the room needs a sacrifice before it's allowed to empty. There's no rule that says you can't leave immediately, but doing so just feels wrong. Leaving first feels rude, impatient, like you're silently announcing you couldn't wait to escape. We all follow this weird social rule, but nobody knows the reason. In older social structures, standing up and walking away at the wrong moment could be seen as disrespect or rejection. That instinct stuck. Now it shows up in conference rooms and movie theaters. What's strange is how unnecessary the wait was. Everyone wanted to leave, but without a clear signal, nobody wanted to be the first. Another social rule we all follow, waiting just long enough for someone else to make it acceptable to leave. Number 1, the bill grab ritual. The food bill hits the table. Everyone reaches for it at the same time, or pretends not to. Wallets appear and disappear. Someone says, I've got it, a little too quickly. Someone else says, no, let me, even though they absolutely were not planning to. Your brain knows the rule. Offering to pay is polite, but actually paying is optional. What matters is the performance. If you don't reach at all, you look cheap. If you grab it too aggressively, you look like you're showing off. So everyone settles into this awkward middle ground, where intentions are loudly announced and actions are carefully delayed. Scientists think this comes from reputation management. In early human groups, generosity mattered. Being seen as willing to share resources made you more trustworthy. That instinct never left. Now it shows up when a piece of paper lands on the table. The strangest part is that everyone usually knows who's actually going to pay. The decision was made silently before the check even arrived, but the ritual still has to happen. That's all for this video. Make sure to subscribe to watch similar videos in the future.